What's up, everyone? It's your boy Survival, founder and host of the community festival called Summerfest, which happens to be held this year after a long hiatus from COVID, and it's going to be held at Seven Hills Park in Somerville on Friday, September 10th at 7 p.m. So everyone, please come one, come all, come out and support. And what I want to do with this particular segment that I created called Fest Friends is catch up with performers involved in this year's event. And this particular performer is going to be representing some other performers. She is the well. I'll let her tell her what what you folks do. Everyone, this is Ronica from Mint Green. Ronica, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
So tell me a little bit about what you do as a performer and who you do it with.
Yeah, so I am the front woman of a four-piece band, kind of under the rock umbrella, and I play guitar, and I'm the writer for the lyrics and the yeah, just like the front person essentially. And we just play music around town, and we've been on some tours as well. Like a UK one was really cool. Uh, Middle America, Southwest, West Coast. And we've been doing it for about 5 years now. But we've had like a lot of iterations of it. And I think the iteration of my band, Mint Green now, is like the one I feel the most confident in. And each year is kind of just like a rebirth. So super excited to have made it through 2020, and we're going strong into 2021. And yeah, super excited to play Summerfest.
Awesome, awesome. And where are you and the rest of your bandmates from?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Dorchester, here in Massachusetts, and I've lived in Boston my whole life. I recently moved to Somerville like 3 years ago, but Somerville, Cambridge, Boston is all pretty close together, so I do find myself back in Dorchester from time to time. And I went to school in Roxbury. So yeah, I'm definitely like Boston born and bred. My drummer Daniel and bassist Tiffany, they're both from California, the Bay Area, and then our guitarist grew up in Western Mass.
Awesome. Nice little melting pot of folks here.
Yeah,
Ready to rock out at Summerfest.
yeah.
Cool. So I want to dive into a couple more questions. When excuse me. So you said you got started about 5 years ago. What did that look like? Was it like, a bunch of folks just jamming together, or was it like you going out and seeking people to, do this definitive thing and, you know, start performing, eventually get into touring and what's the goal?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to do music from like seventh grade, and I just wanted to be in a band like 100%. Paramore is like my biggest influence, I would say, for that era. And it's a band that I mention a lot because just seeing Haley on stage rock out with all of her friends is really inspiring to me when I was like 11. And so in high school, I finally got that opportunity to start a band. And so I pretty much stayed with the same people in that band throughout high school, and then like a year after high school as well. But then finally things started to kind of trickle out, and I felt like I was really the only person trying to kind of continue this thing that we had created. And so in the fall of 2015, uh, I kind of gave the lead vocalist of that band time to kind of think about what they wanted to do. And in that like 2 week break that we had, I just went on Craigslist and started looking for other people to possibly collaborate with. And that's how I found Daniel, who's like the kind of founding member and like only original member left of Mint Green. He's the drummer. Um, and yeah, we just I had some songs written already, and then I finished the other like four that are on our first EP, Growth. While I was overseas during Christmas time of 2015, and then brought them back to him. He made drum parts, and then we just kept looking for other folks to join us. And then once we had a full lineup, we basically just like played shows like crazy, anything and everything, all the way through 2016. Recorded the EP, released the EP in November of 2016, and like we haven't slowed down since, basically.
That's awesome. That's awesome, and really inspirational to me and hopefully other folks. So you know, elephant in the room. We're both people of color,
It's
right?
true.
Um, for people who are blind and listening to this, we are both people of color, and I was asking you before we got started, um, if you like, what that was like for you. You're obviously the front woman of this band. You don't typically see front women of color, in any sort of scene that I've been a part of. And I've been following rock music for probably longer than I care to share with you, Ronika, honestly.
Yeah.
But do you encounter any challenges when trying to get booked, or did you, and like how do you kind of circumnavigate that?
Yeah, definitely. I think at the beginning it was really hard. I feel like breaking into any music scene is going to be tough, but especially when you're something that someone's may not have seen before. So whether it's like, I don't think anything was necessarily conscious, like, oh, like we're not going to book them because like they look like this necessarily. It was more just like we kind of had to prove ourselves for a while, and we definitely like didn't get some shows that we wanted in the beginning, definitely got ghosted a few times, but then as we kind of continued to prove ourselves in our rockability, that's when people started coming around and it was like, oh, like they're sick, whatever. And then like the show started coming easier and easier and easier. But it was like a pretty um, tough beginning for one reason or another. But yeah, it is pretty surreal though, like playing shows and I'm literally the only black woman at the show, period, let alone like performing. Um, and my drummer is Asian. He's Chinese American, so and he's like the drummer. So it's just, and he's in med school. So I feel like well, he actually just graduated. So shout out to Daniel. But
Shout out
it's
to
like,
him.
yeah, like he was doing the whole medical thing behind the scenes while we're like playing basement. And, and like when you talk to him, he is like such a quiet and like reserved guy. And it's just such a, uh, flip. People see him like, smashing on the drums. Like it's just so unexpected. Um, for what people may think of Asian med school student. Um, and our lineup now, I'm very lucky to have Tiffany. She is in a band as well. Her project is called Tiffy, and she is another woman of color. I was like the only woman in my band for the majority of the time. And I didn't really realize how much I kind of needed that camaraderie until she joined. It's just nice to have like someone that kind of understands the struggles of a woman doing rock. Um, and, the guys can only get it so much, I feel like. So having someone like completely in my shoes and like being able to vouch for me has been really helpful. And our most recent addition is Brandon. He's our guitarist, and he's actually half white and half Puerto Rican, but he's very, very, very white passing. So I feel like it's almost the best of both worlds because I feel like since the beginning of my career, I always felt like I had to have like a white guy in the band just to prove that like we are rock. See, like this guy's alternative and it has tattoos. Like, obviously, I don't feel that way anymore, but I think I definitely knew that that was important, whether I purposefully or unconsciously did that or not. Like starting out, it was like me, two white dudes, and Daniel, the Asian guy, in the back. So like it was kind of easier getting ourselves out there than it would have been. I feel like if we were all just like dark skinned people of color, or, whatever. But yeah, Brandon is our kind of basically resident white person. He's the designated driver in strange towns. I'm just kidding, but but yeah.
That's that's interesting that you bring all that up, and you have such a diverse band now. You have done a lot in terms of maturing, and I don't mean it in like a negative connotation where where it's immature before. It's just when you live, you learn, you gain wisdom, and you sort of apply that wisdom to everything and everyone around you. So um
Yeah,
with the
I feel
folks,
like.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I think you're right. Like, the word immature is a good word because I was literally 19, like, starting out this band, and I was just coming from like, being in high school and being like one of the only kind of like emo people or whatever it may be. So like in my head, all the bands that I saw were like, seen hair and tatted and white dudes and like that whole kind of Warped Tour era. And so, you know, I think it's kind of a lot of factors that kind of went into how I thought I had to be, how I thought I had to sound, and things like that. And then going through life, gaining confidence in myself and my music and the band and my, you know, basically, because I also wasn't the front person of my high school band, which I don't really mention that much, but in my head, I just wanted to be in a band. Like, I just wanted to do rhythm guitar and like backing vocals, and I truly did not think I had the look or the ability to even be a front person. So I let my like lighter skinned, more seen hair, straight haired friend be the front person. And so I found myself kind of being the front person of Mint Green solely because it was a new band that I was starting. And I just kind of had to fake it until I made it. Um, but yeah, it has definitely been a journey within myself and like within the scene. And I'm glad that the world is kind of more open to people that look like me and just more open to the idea of just genreless and rock not having a look and all those types of things.
That's awesome. So sort of in that vein of navigating towards genreless and having more confidence and having more wisdom and being more mature. What does representation look like? Um, Whether it's in a band, or whether it is a band navigating a specific, um, I guess, type of genre, or crossing over. What does that look like and mean to you?
Yeah, representation to me, um, it's such a wide umbrella because we could talk about shows where I feel like starting out as people were starting to open their third eye and realize that, oh, maybe we shouldn't only have white people on this gig. It kind of turned into like, oh, wait, she's black and a woman. That's two boxes right there. Boom, gig complete, And I didn't ever, yeah, I didn't want to feel tokenized and I didn't want to feel like I was being like a part of some quota, essentially. Um, and then there's like the other side of it too, where like I don't want. Basically, I saw this Twitter thread once where it's like, oh, how come like Machine Gun Kelly is like pop punk, for example, but like Lil Uzi Vert or like Juice WRLD and all of these emo rappers aren't really given the same kind of um, rock and roll, I feel like, edge. They're just always just going to be rappers, even though half the time they're not even really rapping. They're just like crying about their feelings, like people do in punk all the time. Um, so, like, that's kind of another part of it. I think representation is also just not separating um, genres and like uh,
Just not being put in a box, essentially.
exactly, yeah, because then it kind of turns into because well, or rather, it could easily turn into oh, like this is a black band and like they do like this kind of like fusion and da da da, but it's like rock is rock, and I don't know. I think sometimes it just gets a little weird when there's like this weird separation because then it just kind of feels like we're still not a part of the genre that we essentially created. It's like we're still imposters. We're still trying to be white. We're still, you know, but we're authentic. And I think there's nothing more punk than going through the systems of oppression and combating it with everything that you've got every day.
Awesome. Great. So before we get out of here, can you tell me about anything that is happening with Mint Green before we hit Summerfest on September 10th? And then also where folks can find your music and how to follow you on social.
Yeah, so we are Mint Green Music on Instagram and Twitter. And then you can just look up Mint Green on Spotify and YouTube. In terms of shows before Summerfest, we're actually playing Brighton Music Hall for the first time on the 7th of September.
Awesome.
We're yeah, we're playing with Oso Oso, which is surreal because our guitarist saw them like 2 years ago, like just as a fan, and now 2 years later he gets to play with us and we get to perform with this band that he saw. So it's pretty full circle and we're really excited to do Brighton Music Hall.
That's awesome. That's a great venue. So congrats on that, and good luck. And hopefully, nobody rocks out too hard on stage where they can't, recover within 3 days' time and come, do the damn thing with us. Um, I want to congratulate you on that, and I really thank you for jumping on Ronica and representing Mint Green, representing your band. And, we're pumped to see you come September 10th. And yeah, this has been another episode of Fest Friends. Come out in September and make sure that you go see Mint Green at Brighton Music Hall before you come see us at Summerfest. And hopefully they'll play some slightly different songs. We'll check you next time. Take care.